Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook platform. I'm T. Clay. Walk with me. We're in the book of Jubilees, chapter 7. Yes. And let us pray. Most holy Sanini Nanini, even Tata and Zambi. That spirit that moves upon the water, according to Genesis 1 and 1. We thank you for all that you've done. We give you the glory and the praise for all that you've done. We give you thanksgiving for your word, your statutes, your judgments. Yes, even you, the author of all righteousness. Yes, we thank you. Yes, for it's not our way, but it's your way. It's not our thoughts, but yours that we care about. Because yours is right, because you are our creator, regardless of our opinions and our fleshly misconceptions. Oh, most holy Sanini Nanini, we thank you for deleting our enemies and even moving them out of our way. Yes, even deleting their way to where they turn unto you, or either they're just pushed and moved out of our way. We thank you for that. Yes, and we ask you to deal with our hearts, for so much confusion is wrought in the land. So much confusion. So many lies are pushed forth, signs and wonders, even as was said by the one that should judge all things, that these signs and wonders in heaven and everything and blood beneath and vapor of smoke, all these things are happening even now, and people don't even know. They forget so easily your words. They forget so easily what you have told us. So easily what they've read yesterday, they forget it, or what was said on last week, they forget it, because this is the work of the enemy, even in the spiritual realm. And we thank you that you caused us. You said, how should a man, you said, blessed is he who standeth not in the way with sinners, nor of them the ungodly. But his law is his delight is in the law of the Lord. I might have misquoted a lot of things. And on his law doth he meditate day and night. It's the only way you're going to make it. It's the only way you're gonna even get to the point where you even enjoy it. Yes, this is all we can do, most holy Sanini Nanini, is to meditate on your word both day and night. Help us to do those things, we ask. Give us a mind to remind us. Go to your word, go to your word, go to your word. Not according to as we see fit, but according to your law, statutes, ordinances, and commandments. For all things try to sway us from that which pleases you. Oh, we give you the glory and the praise, and we thank you that because of that, we will be delivered. Yes, yes, yes. We thank God for those of you who have just joined us, and we thank God for those of you who have been with us from the beginning, going through all the archives, the archives and all those things that have been saved on the different platforms that we're on. And we thank God for those of you who have just about joined us, and we thank God for those of you that are about to join us. Yes. Even those who have came in the middle of all of it, we thank God for you, for it's not the fact that you came early or late, it's the fact that you come, and we thank God for that. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You're beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Even your spirit, your spirit, your spirit, your spirit. Yes, that's the most beautiful thing that can be about any human being is their spirit. Not according to a spirit of, should I say, your piety or your religiousness or whatever, but your spirit of that you understand and know the Most High, which will give you the things that we'll talk about in the Beatitudes, and it will give you the things talked about in Corinthians chapter 13. The fact that you would have the attributes of the law. And then in Matthew chapter 5, it talks about the attitude of walking according to the law. But the fact is that Moses was a meek man. He wasn't a sissy, but he was a meek man. When I say sissy, I mean coward. Now, he was a meek man. He didn't have to go with all pious acting and feminine or anything like that. But the fact is, he knew what God said. Yes. Now we're in the book of Jubilees chapter 7 and the first verse. And in the 7th week in the first year thereof, in this Jubilee, Noah planted vines on the mountain on which the ark had rested, named Lubar, one of the mountains, one of the Ararat mountains, and they produced fruit in the 4th year. And he guarded their fruit and gathered it in this year in the 7th month. Yeah, the year that is right written. Yes. And he made wine therefrom and put it into a vessel. Now, he understood language now and kept it. Now, this is the angel of presence talking to Moses. See, all those things were lost. This is the angel of presence. An angel that been in the presence of the Most High talking to Moses, okay? He's talking to Moses, and he also wrote these things for Moses. And he made wine, therefore, and put it into the vessels and kept it until the 5th year, until the 1st day on the new moon of the 1st month. New moon. God goes by nature. If you want to know what God's doing, just watch nature. Yes. Or what we call, there ain't no such thing as no mother nature. No. That's something come up with paganistic thoughts. Now, of the 1st month, and he celebrated with joy the day of his feast. And he made a burnt offering unto the I Am, 1 young ox, 1 ram, and 7 sheep, each a year old, and a kid of the goats, that he might make an atonement thereby for himself and his sons. And he prepared the kid first, and placed some of his blood on the flesh that was on the altar which he had made, and all the fat that had laid on the altar where he made the burnt sacrifice, and the ox and the ram and the sheep, and he laid all their flesh upon the altar. And he placed all their offerings mingled with oil upon it, and afterwards he sprinkled wine on the fire which he had previously made on the altar. And he placed incense on the altar and caused a sweet savor to ascend acceptable before the I Am, his God. Yes, it wasn't your God because you wasn't even here, you wasn't even thought about. His God, the God of Noah. He was grateful. See, this is one of the hearts, one of the attitudes that we have when we sacrifice unto the Most High. If you can sacrifice, it's gratefulness. He had to sacrifice innocence, the innocence of that animal who only walks by his order. He had to sacrifice those things because mankind have lost his innocence. Not the blood of man. If God wanted the blood of man to be sacrificed, wouldn't he tell men to sacrifice their children? He didn't do like that God who told people to sacrifice their children and even walk through the fire, which God hates. So how in the world you think he's going to sacrifice who you call Jesus? He's not going to do that. God doesn't deal with the sacrifice of human beings, which he made after his image. Animals are innocent, but they're not made after the image of God. No. Don't get that backwards. That is pagan, is evil, and is satanic. Now, he placed incense on the altar and caused a sweet savor to ascend acceptable before the I Am, his God, and he rejoiced. In other words, he rejoiced just like Moses did after he was delivered from Pharaoh. And just like David when he received the word back from his captivity. And this is the same way when we receive the word back from his captivity. The word had been captive. The ark had been captive. The word is captive. People have taken this word and they have screwed it. They've hidden things. They put things aside. We should rejoice at the hearing of God's words, because now it has come unto us that we might walk therein. And David danced out of his clothes like he was crazy. The heathen would have called him pagan, just like Leopold called the children in the Congo pagan, because they were worshiping God the way the Old Testament told them to do it. They introduced them to that hideous methodology that they used in the New Testament and twisting it to the point where they can get a man to do their bidding, slap you on your face, whip you on your back, and then say, you're not right. Give us this. We are the gods now. Okay. He says now, and he prepared the first kid and placed some of its blood on the flesh that was on the altar, and I'm in the 4th verse of the 7th chapter. And all the fat he laid on the altar where he made the burnt sacrifice, and the ox and the ram and the sheep, And he laid all their flesh upon the altar, and he placed all their offerings mingled with oil upon it, and afterwards he sprinkled wine, and on the fire which he had previously made on the altar, he placed incense on the altar, and caused a sweet savor to ascend, acceptable before the I am his God. Again, he drank and rejoiced. Now he and his children, they did it with joy, yes. And verse 7, it was evening. And he went into his tent, and being drunken, he lay down and slept, and was uncovered in his tent as he slept. And Ham saw Noah his father naked, and went forth and told his two brethren without. Dad sleep, but he butt naked. Okay. Maybe Ham didn't do it right. Maybe Ham should have said, somebody help me. Dad's sleeping. He doesn't have his clothes on right, so we need to cover him up. Maybe he didn't say it right. I don't think he mocked his dad. No, I mean, that's just my opinion. It could be wrong. Okay? Who knows? And Shem took his garment and rose, and he and Japheth, they placed the garment on their shoulders and went backward and covered the shame of their fathers, and their faces were backward. Noah woke from his sleep and knew all that his younger son had done to him, and he cursed his son and said, cursed be Canaan, and enslaved servant shall he be unto his brethren. Now, only Noah knew what he did or what happened. I mean, Noah was drunk in his joy toward the Most High. I mean, you can get drunk and then just talk about, it's not about, it's about who you love. And then he blessed Shem and said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem, or should I say the I am, the Tata and Zambi of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. In other words, we know with the story of Egypt and Jacob, or Egypt and Israel, some know him as, and Canaan shall be his servant. In other words, Canaan took over a land that was not his. And what had happened was, God sent Jacob out to delete him and remove him to the land, that Jacob might take the land that is rightfully his. Excuse me. Verse 12, and God shall enlarge Japheth, and God shall dwell in the land of Shem. Now the other one says Japheth shall dwell in the tents of Shem. This says God shall dwell in the dwelling of Shem. There's a dead cat on the line somewhere here. And Canaan shall be his servant. God will dwell with who? One of the sons of Shem, which was Jacob, Israel, which everybody's trying to be. Israel, I'm this, I'm that. I'm just thankful that God see me just catching this, obeying his commandments, statutes, and judgments. And that's it. I don't care if I have to lift water buckets or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just good to be with the Most High. Yes. And Ham knew that his father had cursed his younger son, and he was displeased that he had cursed his son. And he parted from his father, and he and his sons with him, and Cush and Mizraim and Put and Canaan. Those was his sons. Now, you see that movie called Noah with Russell Crowe. Where did they get that from? You didn't read that in that book, 66 books of twisted stuff. You didn't read that. No, you didn't. They got it from this, where Ham left. But they even twisted that. He was still a young man, and he didn't even have no kids, yet alone a wife. Ham did have a wife. Oh, we never cease to see the twisting and the auspices of the enemy, how he tried to deceive us and get us further away from that which God is trying to tell us. Come back to the law, statutes, judgment, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High. That's what he's saying. And Cush, Mizraim and Put, and he built for himself a city, called its name after the name of his wife, Niel at Tamauk. And Japheth saw it and became envious of his brother. Japheth got envious of Ham. Ham just got tired of the mess, because he said, I don't know what happened there. But anyway, it doesn't even go into detail in neither of the books. and became envious of his brother, he too built for himself a city, and he called the name of it after his wife, the name of his wife, Adatanasis, if I got that correct. It's something like that. But anyway, verse 16. And Shem dwelt with his father Noah, and he built a city close to his father on the mountain. He too called its name after the name of his wife, Sedi, Kitel Elbab. Yes, Elbab, yeah, something like that. And behold, these three cities are near Mount Lubar. Now, Sede Telebab, yeah. Fronting, this is a whole sentence meaning something. I don't know what it means. But fronting the mountain on its east, and Natelat Tamauk on the south. Now, Adatanesis toward the west. And these are the sons of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Aphaxad, and the sons were born 2 years after the flood, and Lud and Adam. Yes. And the sons of Japheth was Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, Javan, Tubal, and Mesech, and Titus, and these are the sons of Noah. And in the 28th Jubilee, Noah began to enjoin upon his sons the ordinances and the commandments. See, Noah began to teach. See, that's why God tells you to teach your children. Teach them, teach them, teach them. Upon his sons, the ordinances and the commandments and all the judgments that he knew. And he exhorted his sons to observe righteousness. This is the law. These are the commandments. Yes, righteousness. That is righteousness. What is right? What is fair? To cover the shame of their flesh. In other words, don't go around here butt naked like some of these people do. No, you don't own that right. And to cover their shame of their flesh, and to bless their creator, and honor father and mother, and love their neighbor, and guard their souls from fornication and uncleanness and all iniquity. Yes, Noah taught his children. Do you not know these things? The people of all Noah's children knew the law. Mizraim. See, Egypt. Now, see, this come on here, we got you now. You sorry doggone pagans. They were already taught. Everybody had the law. Everybody had the form of the law. You can call your mystics or your whatever you want to call it, your negatives or whatever. Noah taught that thing already. Yeah, gotcha. Yes. Now, he says now, and guard their souls from fornication. And this is why they hide this stuff. This is why the converts hide it. This is why the Christians hide it. They don't want you to know. Where did this come from? Because many of them do follow the book of the dead. For owing to these three things came the flood upon the earth, namely owing to the fornication wherein the watchers against the law of their ordinances went a whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves wives of all which they chose, and they made the beginnings of uncleanness. This is when men begin to get unclean, and they begin to sin. And they begot sons of Nephidim, and they were all unlike, and they devoured one another, and the giants slew, and the Nephils, and the Nephils slew, and the Eho, and the Eho mankind, and one man another. Yes, they slew each other. These are the results of sin. And everyone sold himself to the work of iniquity, to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity. And this was the reason for the flood. The earth was filled with iniquity. And it's twice as much as that today than it was then. And you can guess what? Water was just a blessing to die. But now, have you ever been burnt by fire? With that, we're going to say to the righteous, peace. To the wicked, it's time. With that, peace.